I had some misconceptions about mindfulness. You did too? Let's talk. Yeah, that's not what we're going to do today. Well, kind of. So listen, I have just finished an 8-week mindfulness-based stress reduction program just recently, and I thought that I would just share with you guys some of the misconceptions that I have had when it comes to understanding what mindfulness is, and maybe in hopes I thought I would share them because I'm hoping that it will also help maybe clear it up for you as well, just in case you had those same misconceptions as well. So let's go. What's up, everybody? Oh, how's it going? It's Meshy. It's Meshy with Aligned Soul. I'm so glad that you are here and we're chatting finally. So in today's video, we're going to be really talking about and really diving deeper into these basic misconceptions that I had about what mindfulness practice is, what I can expect at the end of the training, and if it's something that we should all sort of incorporate into our daily routines. So if you are brand new, well, consider subscribing. If you are brand new here, consider subscribing if you haven't yet already. We chat at least about 2 to 3 times a week here, and we talk about anything and everything spirituality. We talk about mindfulness and yoga and how all of these different spirituality tools can help us manifest the best life that we absolutely can. So if that sounds good, you would probably really like it here. Okay, let's talk about mindfulness and some of the basic misconceptions that I had about it. And I mean, I have talked to some of you about this, and I know that you guys share the same feeling. My first and foremost, I thought that if you sit down to do a mindfulness or a meditation practice, then you're supposed to basically stop your mind from thinking, essentially. And I quickly discovered that that was far from the truth. That was really not the point of a mindfulness practice. It was more about allowing your thoughts to be what they are without actual attachment, without really attaching my worth or who I am or what I think I am or whatever. I really needed to learn how to disassociate myself from my thoughts, because they're two separate things. I always used to think that if I have negative thoughts, then I am negative, but that's not really the case at all. So another thing that I had as a misconception with mindfulness was that you had to sit still in order for you to have a mindfulness or a meditation practice. Also wrong. I have discovered that there's many different ways of practicing mindfulness, and having gone through an 8-week meditation and mindfulness practice, I was introduced to many different techniques that I can use throughout the day, and many of them actually didn't really involve too much of the sitting part or sitting still or not moving or not being interrupted. Interruptions will always come up, whether it's with your children or your pets or the phone rings or just simply your thoughts. I had, especially the first couple of weeks, I was really struggling with that, because I was really trying to create the perfect environment where I can sit down and have my practice. I had my meditation cushion and I had, you know, the eye pillow and all the things, and I still found myself about 5 to 10 minutes into the practice to get like really distracted. And even if my pets didn't distract me or my children didn't distract me, I still found that I couldn't sit still for too long, until I gave myself permission to just move and adjust as I needed to. Especially if my baby was crying, then I definitely knew that I'm not going to have a half an hour or a 45-minute practice right then and there. So one of the biggest things that I have learned throughout this whole process is to actually just allow the practice to be what it is without really me wanting to change it. That brings me to my next point. I also used to think that I needed to control all aspects of the training or all aspects of the practice in order for me to get the most amount of benefit from it. Perhaps you have heard some people say, like, I want to do it properly. I need to do it perfect. And all of these things, as I learned along the way, were all about striving, about attachment to a certain outcome. I had an attachment to how this practice should be in order for it to be beneficial. And while there is sort of a basic framework around what a mindfulness practice, I have really learned along the way to really adjust and become a little bit more flexible and adjust it to what my lifestyle is currently. And it's not to say that it will not shift and evolve as time goes on. And that one insight in itself has given me such freedom, because it gave me the freedom to not make myself feel guilty or feel shame about not matching this ideal that I have built up in my head of how the practice should be. Another thing that I have heard from family, and I have to say that I am also guilty of this when it comes to these misconceptions, is if you have a regular mindfulness practice, you're supposed to be happy, or you're supposed to be I guess mindful. You're supposed to be really positive all the time. Also not true. Most of the people that practice regularly, they're just like you and me, except the main difference is that now they have a lot more tools in their tool belt when it comes to really responding to life stressors. That was one of the biggest that I had to understand, that I can choose to be happy right now. I don't need a practice. I don't need a magic wand. I don't need a magical anything to happen. And I definitely don't need more stuff in order for me to just be happy. I can just choose to be happy with how things are, with what it is right in the present moment. That also brings me to another point, that besides having this idea that I'm supposed to stop my thoughts, I also used to think that the people around me will also change. So I had this idea that if I have all of these different practices, there's no way we're going to get through this without him. So here we go. Everybody meet Noah. So I used to also think that if I have all of these different practices like yoga and meditation and mindfulness and have enough crystals and all of these things around me, then that will actually change people around me, which was so false. And I can see that right now, because what it actually gave me, it just gave me the tools for me to manage my own expectation and the way that I respond to people around me. It just gave me the freedom to really respond to people around me, understanding that I couldn't really change people around me anyway, and that wasn't really the point. I wasn't supposed to change people. I was supposed to actually learn how to coexist with everyone around me without attachment, without expectation of what the relationship should be, instead of just letting it be exactly what it is without any attachment to the outcome. And also learning and understanding that people around me also change just as much as I change and I evolve with time. So these are some of my basics. There's so much more that I can get into, and we will actually start this series, which I think is so important to talk about, because once you have a clear understanding of what practices are and what some of those outcomes can be, then I think that creates a more realistic expectation of the type of practices that can be the most suitable for you when it comes to creating your own little wellness tool. Sometimes we overcomplicate things. I also think that sometimes our mind creates all of these different recipes and ideas of what we need in order for us to feel better, because our mind is complicated. It's a complex thing. So let me know in the comments below if you have a mindfulness or meditation practice, what it is, how long it is. I would love to hear from you. And also let me know if you have had any of the misconceptions that I have shared in this video. I want to know if we share the same mindset, or if we made the same mistakes as I have in the past. Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. If you have enjoyed this video, you can give it a thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet already, and just keep shining your light, because you're just so much more powerful than you think. And I will see you guys again in my next one.